we have updates on the third Wolf Creek movie, Peter Pan's Neverland Nightmare, Terrifier 3, and the new Smile 2 trailer. Now let's get into it. Hey everybody, I'm Killjoy Jake, and instead of having friends, I have horror movies. To kick off today's video, I first want to get into Wolf Creek Legacy, the third installment in the Australian horror franchise. The franchise currently consists of 2 movies, a television series, and some video games revolving around Mick Taylor, a sadistic psychopath causing chaos in the outback. Original director Greg McLean is back to produce, with John Jarratt returning to play the role of Mick. This film will see a new director for the franchise, Sean Lahiff, who edited the sequel back in 2013. The plot description reads, "This time around, it's a family of American tourists who wander innocently into Taylor's hunting grounds. When the parents sacrifice themselves to save their children, the kids find themselves alone, lost, and hunted in the vast Australian wilderness. Will this fresh prey, 2 wily, resourceful Zoomers, prove harder for the aging predator to consume?" That plot description sounds a little questionable, especially at the end there, but brutal nonetheless. Based on the last 2 movies, though, I think that sacrifice made by the parents there might have been in vain. I'm so excited to see this continuation of one of the many celebrated splatterpack horror franchises of the early thousands. Wolf Creek is an underrated one with many memorable moments. Head on a stick and all that? Ugh. I still think Rogue is my favorite from director Greg McLean, and the best CGI crocodile movie ever made, but Wolf Creek is easily the most vicious from his catalog. Check out Rogue if you've never seen it. Seriously, it's so good. I can't wait to see what this new one is all about. It sounds like it's taken a hostile direction, which could mean we get a little bit of commentary and a ton of gore. No complaints from this guy. The Poonaverse, or the Twisted Childhood Universe, is expanding in early 2025 with Peter Pan's Neverland Nightmare. The trailer proves this film will be way different than the Blood and Honey flicks that feel much more like parody exploitation slashers. This version of Peter Pan has more of a Black Phone and Joker vibe to him, showing that Jagged Edge has a bunch of different tricks up their sleeves. The film centers on a dark version of Peter Pan who kidnaps kids and shoots up heroin. I wish I was kidding. When Wendy Darling's little brother Michael goes missing, she must rescue him from the clutches of a madman. Director Scott Jeffrey told Bloody Disgusting, "This is tonally an extremely darker film to Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey. When dealing with children being abducted, it felt right. All of the films from our Poonaverse will feel different from the last. So if one isn't for you, then maybe the next one will be. Peter Pan is the most vicious of them all. He is twisted, cruel, and cunning." This sentiment from Scott rings true with some of the shots we got from this brand new trailer. Peter Pan appears to be tormenting the Darling family via phone call, pretending he's the grabber with this creepy looking van here, and potentially slaughtering this bus full of kids. Terrifier 3, eat your heart out. From what I've heard about this flick so far, it seems like it's not one to be missed. I'm really excited to finally see it release in early 2025, followed closely by Bambi the Reckoning. The TCU is about to get a lot bigger than just Pooh and Friends, with Pinocchio and a massive crossover film currently in the works from the same team. After Blood and Honey 2, Jagged Edge has my attention. I'm really excited to see what else they do with these public domain horror flicks. 2 new trailers released for Terrifier 3 this past week that I covered extensively in previous updates. Check out those breakdowns if you haven't already. Both trailers had me creaming my jeans with excitement, but some fans felt that they might have shown too much, with some people even avoiding them like the plague. Trust me, I totally understand this, especially considering what we have to talk about in the Smile 2 update today. You know, wanting to savor the surprise for when the movie drops. But writer-director Damien Leone promises that there is still a ton of virgin footage that fans haven't seen yet. After the trailers came out last week, Damien thanked his fans for the positive response and overwhelming excitement from folks all over the internet. He did also promise that fans haven't seen anything yet. It gets even more interesting because Damien tweeted a few days ago that a good 35 minutes of insanity wasn't even touched when putting together the trailer. He did write #true after that, making me think he's totally lying. Kidding, of course, but it is suspicious.
Don't be suspicious, don't be suspicious.
I believe him, because there are clearly some missing pieces that I still have questions about regarding the trailer and the overall flow of the film. While I can probably guess how some of the sequences will go in the first half of the flick, the third act remains a mystery. How does Art meet up with Sienna again after the chaos he creates at the shopping mall, sorority house, and this dusty attic? It seems as if the Shaw siblings will return to the Terrifier attraction at some point too in the flick, as they discuss in the trailer, but but we never see any shots of that. We do see this police officer getting attacked by a headless art body here though. On top of that, the final fight seems to take place on Sienna's turf this time around, as Art appears to be attacking the final girl in this shot here, clearly taking place in a suburban home, not the Terrifier. Also, there was no sign of Jason Patric, Clint Howard, Tom Savini, or any of the other cameos in these new trailers. There's clearly a lot of sequences that we haven't seen yet or only have had a taste of. I'm sure Damien and co will keep this as secretive as possible up until the film's release on October 11th of this year. I don't say this about most movie advertisements, but I think we can trust Terrifier 3's marketing team. We also just got our first look at official Terrifier 3 popcorn buckets, so I guess that petition worked, fellas. It's one of the most iconic images from the upcoming flick that features Arthur Claus waiting to meet children at the mall. You know this scene is about to be so vile. The popcorn bucket itself isn't anything too elaborate like the Dune 2 or Deadpool and Wolverine buckets, but it's still cool that we even got something. I'm gonna have to pick up one of these bad boys upon arrival. Thank you so much, Cinemark. The Smile 2 trailer just dropped this morning, consisting of more smiling, evil, creepy faces. Damn, dude, don't get so close! The first half is mostly footage we've already covered in previous updates from the teaser trailer. Sky Riley is this ultra-famous pop star who's become cursed with the Smile Demon. Somehow, it links to her after taking out Rose in the first movie. I'm sure Kyle Gallner being in the cast list has something to do with that. He was in the first one. And Strange Darling. Oh my god, go see Strange Darling in the theaters now, please. Anyways, there's a fun surprise for Scream fans in the trailer, revealing that Drew Barrymore is in Smile 2 playing herself. She appears to be interviewing Sky, played by actress Naomi Scott, on her show with a dour tone. It feels like this is going to be some sort of silly denouement where the character of Sky Riley goes through some sort of catharsis after the scary that will likely happen in this movie, live on the air with America's sweetheart, Drew Barrymore. I mean, there's no better way to do it in my opinion, right? There is a better way to structure a trailer, however, because wow, this one feels like it spoils a lot. Seriously, if you don't want the sequel spoiled, maybe skip this part of the video at any new marketing, as I don't believe it can be trusted at this point. A little over dramatic, I know, but god, I hate when a trailer basically tells you everything that's going to happen in a new movie before you even see it. Later on in the trailer, past the Drew Barrymore stuff, Sky seems to be having a meeting with Peter Jacobson's character, Morris, who appears to have been tracking the Smile Demon for some time now. When Sky asks how can we stop it, he tells her they have to unalive her first. This is potentially a huge spoiler for the movie. I mean, just think about how this sequel is set up. It's the same thing as the last flick, pretty much, with the one identifiable element being a major difference is the caliber of your lead character. We went from Dr. Rose Cotter, a selfless person whose life was destroyed by the demon, to Sky Riley, a pop star entertainer who makes a ton of money and definitely cares a little more about her image than most. She's going to pull all of her resources together to survive, as anyone would in this situation. The difference is she has way more money and power than most people. She'll likely go through this Flatliners-inspired process that Morris is describing here, which is very similar to an OD, I might note, and it probably will leave you in this ambiguous limbo of did it work or did it not. This film seems to have an even sillier tone than its predecessor, so they might just have a goofy, lore-breaking stinger scare at the end for shits and gigs. Either way, I feel like Smile 2 just showed me its whole hand in this new trailer, dampening my excitement a little bit. I loved the original flick that did something fresh with an old formula, so I'm hoping this one can find a way to do the same. Looking on the brighter side, I am still hyped for this one. I dig the idea of a pop star being afflicted with this thing and possibly being embarrassed on a grander scale than in the previous film. I'm sure it's going to make a lot of the sequences in Smile 2 feel much bigger and even harder to watch. Sky is also facing her dark past in this movie, as the plot description reads, meaning that this will likely be a drug allegory this time around. Again, nothing new there, but writer-director Parker Finn has already proven to us that he can put a fresh spin on old ideas. The first Smile was a smash hit, reeling in $217 million at the worldwide box office back in 2022, dominating Halloween Ends, which was in theaters at the same time. I'll never stop bringing that up, and Parker has my eternal respect for that. I'm staying hopeful with Smile 2, but Paramount has to chill with the marketing, man. Desperate ads usually means the studio is begging you to see this movie, which rarely means it's of decent quality. Remember how desperate the Strangers Chapter 1 ads were, spoiling everything that happened in that movie before it even even hit theaters? Or how about Blumhouse's Speak No Evil? I haven't seen it yet, but maybe I have based on the thousands of ads I've been forced to sit in front of before every movie I've seen in theaters for the last 3 months. I just hope this isn't history repeating itself, but I'm gonna stay positive with this one until it's released on October 18th. Let's hope it bangs! Before we wrap up today's video, I'd like to ask you all to please subscribe to my gaming channel, GullGotha. This week I'm playing The Casting of Frank Stone, a new DBD spin-off that takes the multiplayer horror game and turns it into a single-player nightmare just like The Quarry or Until Dawn. Make sure to check out that video on the new page when it drops later this week and help me hit 500 subscribers. That would make old Jake pretty damn happy. Which update from today's video was your favorite? Which one had you the most excited? Leave me a comment about it down below. Thank you all again for watching, and as always, don't forget to kill it out there, y'all.